Hey folks, Trubie aka Flexi, here with you for the reserve pool. Wanted to bring to you a special treat from our good friends at WizKids. They have given me the opportunity to present to you the Dungeons and Dragons Faerun Under Siege starter box. Now, obviously, this box is already open. I'm not doing an unboxing because I think by now we all know what's in these things. But I just wanted to go through the cards and show you what we got and what makes me particularly excited. I absolutely love the first D&D set. It's still my favorite set released so far, and I am incredibly pumped for this one. So let's just get straight to the. We'll start with the basic actions. So the first one we have is Banishment. I'm probably just going to roll through these pretty quick because they've been spoiled by another great video, so I'll just chime in on ones that I particularly like. But Banishment. Put target character die from opponent's prep area into their use pile. Yeah, nice little utility, 2 cost. Not great, but pretty cool. I could see it being used. Barkskin. Target character die cannot be dealt damage until end of turn. And on a burst, choose 2 target character dice instead. And then has the global pay a shield, target character die, gets +1 defense until end of turn. Another 2 cost, yeah, not bad. Not overwhelmingly great, but still, it's a decent card. But now we get to one of the first, what I would say one of the all-star basic actions, is Blink, Transmutation. Use only after blockers are assigned. Each of your blocked character dice deals 1 damage to the defending player in addition to normal damage. That alone is pretty cool. So basically you attack with a bunch of little guys and they're all guaranteed to do at least 1 damage. But then the global, pay 1 mask, remove target attacking character die from the attack zone. So basically we get a distraction replacement. And this is actually a better card than distraction because this is something you will buy as well as use the global. So for people who are having trouble getting a hold of AVX starters and need a way to stop Guy Gardner, there's your answer. This is actually great, really great. So I expect to see this in a lot of teams going forward. So moving on, Chainmail Armor. This is the first of the basic action equipments. This is an interesting idea where the basic action die actually acts as equipment, which either player can buy. Now, obviously, if you're in Unlimited, if you're playing an all-adventurer team and your opponent isn't, this means nothing to them. But for you, you get all the benefit. Say, equipped character gets +4 defense and cannot be attacked by cannot be affected by opposing when fielded effects. This die counts as gear. This cannot be ignored. That's pretty solid. It's sort of like a magic helmet. Except it only goes for when fielded effects. That does help in D&D universe against stuff like Umber Hulk. And there's also one of the cards we'll show later, a Cockatrice, which knocks characters out. So yeah, this is pretty solid. Probably not as big in Unlimited unless you're running heavy on adventurers, but still, I mean, a decent card. Cloud Kill. Deal 1 damage to each opposing character. Character dice damaged by this effect cannot attack or block this turn unless the opponent pays 1 per character die. So this is another really pretty nice card that I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of in the future. So you're hitting everything they have. It's almost like a breath weapon. But then, unless they have the energy stored up, they can't block with anything. So it's sort of a breath weapon mixed with a relentless in one. It's pretty nice. So yeah, unless your opponent's sitting on a lot of energy, that's going to get you get a few things through. So that's a good one. Delayed Blast Fireball. This is one of the craziest ones I think from the set. Continuous. On your opponent's turn, either when an attack is declared or the opponent skips the attack step, deal 4 damage to all opposing characters and move this die to the use pile. And on burst, deal 6 damage instead. That's disgusting. In a good way. Because basically your opponent does their turn, they field everything, and then you just wipe it all out. As someone who probably wouldn't play this because it's not sort of my style, I'm thankful that it's a 5 cost because it's going to make it a little harder to get out. That's a really rough thing to go against. I like it, but I don't want to go against it. Man, that's just ugly. But in a good way for people who want to use it. So then we go to our next equipment. Flaming Sword. Equipped character die gets +2 attack and +2 defense. Flaming Sword deals 1 damage to character dice blocking or blocked by the equipped character. This die counts as gear. This cannot be ignored. So, I mean, another nice boost. And then any character that tries to block it is automatically going to take 1 damage. So if your opponent's blocking with 4 sidekicks and you have Overcrush on something and it has the Flaming Sword, well, it's going to wipe out all those sidekicks and deal all the damage to your opponent. So I mean, it's another fairly decent card. Well, once again, though, if you're using adventurers, and Unlimited probably won't see it as much in draft and in D&D only, and in people who are making adventurer teams. I think it seems pretty solid. So that's something we might see later on. I'm going to very likely butcher the pronunciation of this. Mordenkainen's Sword. Target character die gets plus XA and plus XD, where X is the number of NPC dice in your opponent's use pile when you use this action die. And then he has the global, pay 2 bolt, deal 1 damage to target character dice. So this is one of those things where you can spend a bunch of bolts to KO, but they're getting KO'd and then getting put into the use, or prep area, not the use pile. But then if you put that together with the first basic action we saw, Banishment, you can at least move something to the use pile. But still, I mean, that's decent. I mean, it's not a huge boost. Obviously it doesn't get bigger than 8. Most opponents aren't going to have 8 NPCs in their use pile. But still, a neat card. And it's got a new Magic Missile type global. So, not great, not terrible, usable. I'd probably play with it. Power Word Kill. Basic action card. KO target character die of level 2 or less. On burst, KO target character die of any level instead. So basically you've got Smash again. A little more expensive. But, I think Smash on its burst was only KO up to level 2. So it's still pretty decent. And then we have the global. Pay Fist, KO target level 1 character die that was dealt damage this turn. So that's actually kind of cool. If you're playing against someone who's using like Hulk, they blast their Hulk once, well, you can just pay 2 fists and KO it, so they can't blast it more than once. So it has its moments, and it's not a terrible card. I kind of like that global, especially as someone who likes to play fists a lot. So yeah, I think it's reasonable, not too bad. Then the last of the basic actions, Shocking Grasp. Deal 1 damage to target character die. If that character is KO'd by this damage, you may put this die into your prep area. So you have another 2 cost here that is just a constant ping if you keep on rolling it. So deal 1 damage, KO a sidekick, put it in your prep. Next turn, roll it again. KO a sidekick, put it in your prep. And just keeps on rotating through. Or if it doesn't rotate through, you get extra energy. So I think that's actually a pretty good card. In draft, that's probably one I'm going to use a lot because people are going to be likely walling up with sidekicks or something to help take out some of the swarm characters that might be giving your opponent extra dice. So yeah, I think that's pretty nice. That ends our section on the basic actions. Now we'll move on to our characters that come in the set. I'm just going to lay down each of the characters from the set and then talk about the one I like the most. So we have, first, the Bronze Dragon. We have Breath Weapon 1, 4 cost, good alignment. Yeah, decent. Basic. Bronze Dragon, Apprentice Dragon, anti-breath weapon. When an opponent uses a breath weapon, you may pay an amount equal to this opponent's breath weapon cost. To cancel this effect. And then you can, on a burst, you can pay 1 less than they paid. So if they got a breath weapon 3 and you're on burst, you pay 2 energy and breath weapon is nullified. And then my most interesting in this set, I think, of these 3, is the Bronze Dragon, Master Dragon. He also has breath weapon 1, and then while Bronze Dragon is active, whenever an opponent uses a breath weapon, Bronze Dragon does an equal amount of damage to that opponent and to each of their character dice. So it's sort of reflecting breath weapon back at your opponent, which I think is pretty cool, especially if you're staying in set where there's going to be a lot of dragon usage. That's a great card to just nullify Red Dragon or Blue Dragon or whatever dragons might be coming at you. It's pretty nice. I like it, and yeah, if I was going to be running like a D&D only team, I'd very likely put that on a team. Granted, outside of D&D, you don't go up against breath weapon that much unless you're playing at Michael Lee's store. But yeah, so still pretty cool card. Oh, and let's go ahead and reveal the beautiful dice. Our 2 dice for Bronze Dragon. Now we move on to the Cockatrice. The first one, when fielded, KO target character die with purchase cost 4 or less. The second, Cockatrice, Apprentice Monstrosity. When Cockatrice is active, whenever an NPC is fielded, roll an unpurchased spell or basic action die. On a 2, KO the NPC, return the spell die afterwards. So basically you're flipping a die, or flipping a coin, because you got a 50% chance of it coming up a 2. Then Cockatrice, Master Monstrosity. When blocked, reroll target blocker blocking Cockatrice and KO it if it rolls an energy face. So a nice, decent way of removing the blocker. Not fantastic, and it's a little expensive because it's at the 5. Of these, I like these 2, the Apprentice Monstrosity and the Minor Monstrosity, but I think if I was forced to choose one, I'd probably go with the Minor Monstrosity, because a lot of the characters that you're going to want to get rid of are going to be 4 costs, especially in set with D&D. So like the Human Paladin, who makes it that you can't target your opponent's characters with globals. That's a nice way to get rid of a Human Paladin. Or if you're out of set, well, no, I was gonna say that would help with Constantine, but if Cockatrice is named by Constantine, well, that doesn't help you much there. But still, it's a fairly cool card. One thing, it's a little odd, we'll see a little bit later, the one that comes not in the basic action, the one in the packs, is virtually identical. So you'll actually be able to see this card in draft as well. So if you're going to be drafting, actually that's a decent card to target, because one of the big things in draft is having some form of removal. And in draft, you're going to have lesser cards, lesser purchase cost cards. It also helps with the swarm characters. I hate giving you guys tips on how to deal with swarm, but that is the way. So oh, and then the Cockatrice dice. Nice little chicken footprint. Appropriate. Now we go to our next card, the first of the fiends we will see. First we have Glabrazu, a minor fiend. When Glabrazu is active, your fiend dice cost 1 less to purchase. So a nice little card for reducing the cost of fiends. And we have Glabrazu, Apprentice Fiend. When Glabrazu is active, your fiend dice cannot be damaged except by combat damage. I really like that card, and I will get back to that in a second as to why I really like that card. And then the last, Glabrazu, Master Fiend. When Glabrazu is active, your opponent cannot target your fiend dice with action dice. Decent, but for my money, the Glabrazu Apprentice Fiend is the winner here. I like the cost reduction, but there's other fiends that give you cost reduction. With Glabrazu, apprentice fiend, your fiends not being able to be targeted, or not being able to be damaged except by combat damage, really just shuts down one of the big things out there, Hulk Green Goliath. I can see now fiends being a thing, because if you can counter Hulk Green Goliath with just a wall of fiends and he can't do anything to them unless they start attacking, that's fantastic. I really like that. So yeah, I really think fiends will be a thing, and if they're not a thing, I will make them a thing, because I like that. I like that a lot. And I like the other fiends I've seen so far. So, and we have one other I'll get to a little bit later. Oh, and I forgot the dice. Sorry about that. There are the dice. Looks kind of like a lobster claw. Oh, I guess he has lobster claw hands, doesn't he? shows what I know. Next, we have the Gnome Ranger. First, we have the Minor Harper. Experience. When fielded, deal 2 damage to target character die, and on burst, instead deal 4 damage if you have 2 or more experience tokens on this character card. That is potentially kind of sick. Just, every time you field, deal 4 damage. Of course, you have to roll it on the level 1 face each time. Still, that's a fairly cool little card. Then we have the Gnome Ranger Apprentice Emerald Enclave Experience. When fielded, draw a die from your bag and put it into your prep area. And on burst, if it's an NPC die, deal 2 damage to target character die. Also pretty cool. Probably my pick for this of these for my favorite is the Master Lord's Alliance. When Gnome Ranger is active, your other attacking character dice get +1 attack until end of turn. He's a 3-cost bolt. Granted, he's not. I'm looking a lot at the alignments. I tend to want to keep on using the rare unicorn to boost the alignment, the good alignment. But still, that neutral Gnome Ranger is pretty nice. Just giving everything a +1. He doesn't have to be attacking either, so you can just sit back and if you're attacking with 4 kobolds, they're all going to get +1 attack. Or if you're doing Guy Gardner, or it's basically just a free boost to anything that's attacking. That's pretty solid. I like that a lot. And once again, I forgot the dice. And here are our dice. So here we see a very familiar icon. That is the icon we saw on Minskin Boo, the promo card from the first D&D set. And that is actually the Ranger, Ranger alignment card. So we'll actually see other repeated icons in this set. Like we'll see the Elf Thief has the same icon as the Halfling Thief. And then we have the, it's the Warrior. I think it's the Human Warrior. Has the same icon as the Half-Elk Warrior, or Half-Orc Warrior. And I think there was one other that was being repeated, I think. But my mind, I'm drawing a blank right now, but you get the point. Still a pretty cool card. And I do like adventurers, so I will very likely be playing with that at some point. And speaking of adventurers, we have our second adventurer from the starter set, the Half-Elf Bard. This one is the Minor Harper. He has experience. When Half-Elf Bard blocks, draw a die and add it to your prep area. If it's an adventurer die, draw an additional die and add it as well. So here we have, if you have multiple if you're playing with multiple adventurers, he blocks, you draw a die. If it's another adventurer die, like the Human Paladin or another Half-Elf Bard, then you just immediately draw another die and you prep 2. So that's not too bad. It's definitely worthwhile, and especially the lower cost isn't too bad. Here we have the second Half-Elf Bard, the Apprentice Order of the Gauntlet, rocking his rock and roll lute over the shoulder there. Experience. While Half-Elf Bard is active, your other character dice of equal or lower level to your highest level Half-Elf Bard are not affected by opposing character abilities. This one I actually like quite a bit. I'm going to come back to that one in just 1 second. But first, let's talk about the Half-Elf Bard Master Lord's Alliance experience. When Half-Elf Bard attacks, each attacking character gets +1/+1, +1 attack and +1 defense for each of your other different character dice. This is it's a pretty darn solid card. Both of these are completely viable. The Master Lord's Alliance on the right here gives you basically a mini Guy Gardner effect with all of your dice. So if you attack with a Bard, a Goblin, and a Kobold, each of them are going to get +2. So that's pretty nice. But the Master Elf Bard or Half-Elf Bard Apprentice Order of the Gauntlet, I like this one a lot because he makes your characters invulnerable to an extent, because you're not going to get wiped out by a Hulk blast. You're not in set. You're not gonna the Ember Hulk. You're not going to have to reroll any of your characters. And if the Half-Elf Bard's at level 3, yeah, he's protected too. So he's pretty darn nice. And even if they do have removal, they have to take out the Half-Elf Bard before anything else. So, I mean, he's basically a nice firewall between you and your opponent's abilities. And, yeah, if he's a 0/0/1 fielding cost, so you can easily get him back out if he's removed. And, I mean, he's only at 4 cost, so he's not too hard to get out. All around, that's a pretty darn nice card. Yeah, if you're playing adventurers, that seems like a really great one to use. So, and let's not forget the dice, as usual. And there we have the dice with the cool little rock and roll loot. Granted, it looks a lot more hardcore on a shoulder like that than on the die, but yeah, I'll forgive it. Next we have our second fiend from the set. Here's the Hellhound, the minor fiend. Nothing really special about that one. Pretty straightforward. Next we have the Hellhound Apprentice Fiend. When Hellhound attacks, deal 1 damage to target character or opponent, which I actually like that one quite a bit. But we'll go ahead and off to the next one. Hellhound Master Fiend. When Hellhound attacks, target character die cannot block this turn. So basically he's a built-in Relentless. Both of these are pretty darn nice and hard to choose from. I think I like the Apprentice Fiend a little bit better because he's, a cheetah-like ability for fists, and he can also target an opponent or a character, so he could be removing sidekicks. So he kind of acts like his own Relentless for sidekicks, because you're taking the sidekicks out, and he's still getting through, clearing a path for other fiends. However, the fiend that is in the booster packs, the one that's not in the starter, he reduces the cost of fiends by 1 and their fielding cost by 1, which is also incredibly nice. So if I'm building a fiend team, it's going to be a hard choice between this one and the one that reduces. They're both pretty darn good, but yeah, fiends, man, oof, they're looking really strong. There are our fiend dice. Next up we have the Hill Giant. The basic one, just 2 cost, with some pretty beefy attack stats, but he's blank and he has really high fielding costs. We'll go to the next one. The Apprentice Giant has the same beefy stats, 1 more purchase cost, but then Overcrush. A 3 cost with Overcrush is pretty brutal. So you're going to be able to get that out pretty early and attacking with one hell of a beater. Once again, though, those fielding costs are a bit rough. And then lastly, we have the Master Giant. When a Hill Giant attacks, he can only be blocked by 2 or more character dice. That's an ability we've seen previously with cards like She-Hulk and a couple others that are escaping me right now. But I mean, it's a familiar ability. I think this is the cheapest character we've seen to have that ability. Cheapest in purchase cost. But yeah, still, that fielding cost is pretty rough, especially like on turn 3. If you buy him on turn 1 or 2, and then on turn 3 you roll him, and he comes up on his level 3 side, and you have a 3 fielding cost there, that's rough. Half the time I'm in that scenario, I'm probably not going to even field them because you're just going to get behind spending that much money on fielding them. Unless you have a bunch of kobolds or something, if you have, say, six fist energy sitting in your reserve and anger issues, putting an extra 6 into that guy, yeah, so you have an 11-4 attacking. That's gonna be 11-4 with Overcrush. That's a big beat stick to your opponent's face. So that's pretty good. Still, that fielding cost is gonna be rough. And here we have said big beat stick on his die. And the last card from the D&D starter here, we have the, out of order. Start with the 4 cost. The White Dragon Minion Dragon. Breath Weapon 1, and while White Dragon, I'm going to keep on seeing white as while for some reason. White Dragon gets +1 defense while blocking. That's pretty solid. It's a Breath Weapon 1 with only a 4 purchase cost, a shield. So yeah, that's a fairly decent dragon. Next we'll go with the White Dragon Apprentice Dragon. Breath Weapon 1, and then level 1 character dice damaged by Breath Weapon cannot block until end of turn. So a built-in relentless for level 1 characters. There's a 1 in 3 chance your opponent's characters are going to be level 1. That's pretty solid. So you're going to obviously wipe out any sidekicks, but if somehow they have a bonus to their defense and they stay in the field, if they're hit by that Breath Weapon, they still can't block. If they have if they've polymorphed something in, it's going to be at level 1. It's not going to be able to block. That's also pretty darn nice. But let's go on to the next one. And I'll make my decision for my favorite here in a little bit. But so the Breath Weapon 2, the White Dragon Master Dragon. Breath Weapon 2, which 2 damage instead of 1 is pretty nice. But then good character dice damaged by this Breath Weapon cannot block until end of turn unless your opponent pays 1 energy. This is going to be better in set, obviously, since there's no alignment on a Guy Gardner or a Hulk or Jinzo, but it's still your Breath Weapon 2 is pretty nice on a shield character, and I mean good characters are pretty strong, so there might be a uptick in the usage of D&D, especially with this set. So I mean, it's still not completely out of the question for that to be useful in Unlimited, but I think in general, the White Dragon Apprentice Dragon is probably going to be your dragon of choice. Having the 4 cost is nice though. I've played a lot with the Green Dragon, and having the 4 cost fist as opposed to the 5 cost, it's a lot easier to get to that 4 than it is the 5. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. So yeah, it's a solid card. I think if I was going to play with one though, I'd more likely probably shoot for the 5 cost. It's a hard choice, but they're both pretty darn nice. And then we have our dice, the nice clear sort of semi-translucent dice. Pretty nice actually, and unlike some of the translucent dice, it's very easy to read those stats. On some of the other dice, like Constantine, it's been a little harder to read the attack and defense. This one, it's very clear, so that's a nice touch. So that gives us all their characters. A lot to think about building with. I mean, this is a really great set. Fiends, particularly, are looking really fantastic. That is our starter. This is looking like one fantastic set. I'm really dying to use this in my local game store. I think with these basic actions, they're probably not as overwhelmingly powerful as some of the ones in D&D 1, but I think when it comes to overall usability of basic actions in a set, I think this is easily one of the best sets of basic actions we've seen. Blink Transmutation is huge. That is, without any doubt, going to be used quite a bit. That's just really a fantastic card. Cloud Kill is pretty awesome. I'd be shocked if we don't see that. Uh, Delayed Blast Fireball. I'm willing to say that it's terrible just so you people don't use it, because, man, I don't want to face that thing. Wow. That's just going to be really tough to deal with. I'm dreading going against someone who uses that. But still, that's a pretty awesome card, I gotta say. And then, of course, we have Power Word Kill, which, yeah, it isn't as strong as the previous 4. I still like it. I like the global on it. I think this is still an interesting card that's probably going to see some play. And I mean, really, all of them have their places, I think. So, yeah, this is just looking fantastic. I really just cannot wait to use these cards. The good thing is, as badly as I want to open more, and I really want to gravity feed, WizKids was kind enough to send me some packs as well. So, as an additional treat, I've got some packs to open. So my wife is going to join me, and we're going to do it as we usually do and share. So here we go. I'm dying to open some packs. I just wish I had a whole gravity feed worth, but we've got 5. So let's get to that. Let's open some packs. I'm here with my lovely wife Melissa, and we've got 5 packs of Faerun Under Siege that I'm desperate to open for you. You can't believe the willpower it took to make sure that I don't just rip into these as soon as I got them, but I just for you, I waited so we can share in the experience all together. So I guess I'll let you guys into a little taste of our home life, where my wife and I will take turns opening these packs. I'll give her 3. There's 5 total, so I'll give her 3 and me 2. So obviously we're going to take this adventure together.
Such a gentleman.
We're going to take this adventure together and see what cool stuff we get. There's still a lot in here that I have absolutely no idea what it is. So, yeah, this should be fun. So without much further ado, I'll take 2 of these packs, and Melissa will reach across and grab 3. And I will say ladies first. So let's get cracking here.
Okay. I like to dump my dice out. All right. I have no idea what those are. Looks like an armadillo and firehead.
Not Baylor. One of them is a fiend.
Oh, one of them is a gorgon. Okay.
Ooh.
This is a gorgon. When fielded, reroll target opposing character die. If it rolls an energy face, KO target character. On an asterisk, instead it rolls an energy face, put the character die into the used pile. This is a 5 cost bolt.
So I guess that would still trigger stuff like Aunt May. Well, actually, we believe that would anyway. But it would still trigger KO effects. So that's interesting. All right, so let's hear what the other one is.
Okay, I got an uncommon. And sorry, D&D fans, when I butcher half these guys' names. Baylor is what I'm going to call him. He's a fiend, making use of fiends now, since we only had like 1 or 2 in the first one.
Set.
1. He's a gate fiend. When fielded, you may take a different unpurchased fiend die and roll it. If it rolls a character face, put it into your prep area. Otherwise, return it to this card. He's a little costly. Fist character.
But, yeah, as we've seen in some of the earlier spoilers, there's a lot of really good fiend cost reduction, and there was in the previous D&D set. So he actually wouldn't be too hard to get, and that gate fiend is pretty awesome. Being able to just possibly get fiends for free. So yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to trying to play with these fiends.
Yeah, the fiends look like the slivers of Dice Masters.
I'm really pretty pumped for that. Because, yeah, I think I've always loved doing stuff like zombies and merfolk. So yeah, bringing the tribalism hardcore into Dice Masters is great. I know you've obviously done a lot with the Uncanny X-Men and
yeah,
with,
I'm like I already been there. I only play theme decks. So okay, we'll move on to his.
Yep, so
say
we
goodbye
can
to these 2.
Move them over to the side. Now we have my pack. Ooh, what will it be? Oh, we got a goblin. I know that die. Ooh, and a pretty beholder.
Oh, is it the sparkly? Oh, it does. Oh, it does. It has sparkles. I know. Everybody cares. It has sparkles. Okay, at least it means something to me.
All right, so we've got the Goblin. While this character is active, Swarm. While this character is active, yeah, we all know how Swarm works. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, two cost swarm.
Yep, 2-cost Swarm. 001. So yeah, he's a slightly beefier kobold. With two purchase cost.
A little harder to knock out too.
A little harder to knock out, yeah. And then the Beholder. Ooh, we got the super rare.
Oh my gosh!
While Beholder is active, when you KO a character die using an action die, KO all other copies of that character die in play. And only a 4-cost. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, there's some odds.
Yeah.
5
Yeah, 5 packs, we got a super rare. Woo! And of course, yeah, it's got the new global pay 1. Move target spell die on an action phase in your reserve pool to Beholder's card. At the beginning of your next roll and reroll step, return it to the reserve pool on the same face. So it's sort of a fixed global. It reads more like what seems like the intention of the original Beholder global was, with basically just you're storing the global the spell for later on, which is pretty awesome. But I'm pumped. Super rare. Yeah. It's Melissa's turn now.
Okay, move these two over.
And yeah, I probably can't tell on video, but that Beholder die is beautiful. I really like that.
It is. If you're a die liker, like I am, I like pretty dice. That's fun. Okay, so dragon maybe, and I don't know, a bush. I'll just make up things.
Yeah, Melissa has not looked at any of the spoilers that have been out so far.
No,
so.
I have no idea what I'm up. And I'm doing this upside down, which is why I'm kind of reading this before I put them up. An intellect devourer. When he's fielded, move target die showing energy from the opponent's reserve pool to the used pile. It's a bolt, and he's kind of gross looking. He's not cute.
That's, yeah, I think the Intellect Devourer is actually going to be a pretty neat card to use. One of the other ones that was spoiled, makes all your mask character, or all your question marks move to the used pile. So if someone's sitting on their question marks, it's a way of sort of punishing them for that. So what's our other card there?
Okay, this makes me think of Final Fantasy. Bahamut, rare, breath weapon 3. When Bahamut attacks, KO target opposing evil dragon character die and deal damage to target opponent equal to that die's level. Beefy 7 cost here.
Yeah, a good dragon. The good alignment, which is always a lot of fun. But I see.
I'm going to summon him for my Final Fantasy 8 team.
That cost is a little hefty though, so it might be a little harder to use them, but still pretty cool.
Is there going to be? Well, there still isn't the Dragon Master. Who's the guy that lets dragons cost less to purchase?
Yeah, the half dragon.
Yeah, so that can.
There's also the half dragon coming out in the OP cards that we don't know what it does yet. So, but yeah, with the half dragon, he could get out pretty easily.
More manageable. You can have quite the dragon theme team going.
All right, so my turn here. Oh, we got another pretty one. It's a potion and rust monster, I believe.
It has a little bubble in it. Is that on purpose?
All right, so
Hey, what?
rust monster. When fielded, you may put target unattached opposing gear into opponent's used pile. So with all the new gear that is in this set, that's going to be pretty useful and limited. In unlimited, not as much,
yeah.
unless gear becomes a really hot thing, which it might be. I think I'm probably gonna try to start using gear, but of course you have other stuff that affects action dice like Bleeze and Blink from Amazing Spider-Man, which those count for gear as well. So those would also counter gear. So still, I mean, he's a 0 cost across the board, which is kind of nice. I mean, he's kind of like a Pepper Potts, yeah, from Age of Ultron. So, I mean, it's not a bad character. Let's see, let's move on.
I see an uncommon.
Yeah, we see the uncommon stripe sticking through. Okay, potion, greater spell. Target character die gets +3/+3. And if it's on burst instead, target character die gets +4 or +5/+5. Sorry, I was looking at the purchase cost there. Yeah, the potion of heroism. That's a pretty darn good boost, and the fact that it's only on your characters, I mean, because your opponent can't buy a potion, that's not too bad. It's still, there's other things I think I could do with that. I mean, in unlimited play, if you're going with a 4-cost bolt that's going to cause lots of damage, there's still the ring, not the ring of madness, the lantern ring.
But this is just a one-time use?
It's a one-time use, yeah.
I mean, I know that doesn't make sense. Equip a potion. I don't know, you pour it over your head. How long does it go before it dries? I don't know.
All right, well, so let's move on to our final pack.
Oh,
Sad,
man.
but...
That was it? Couldn't we open a whole box?
Yeah, I can't wait for those gravity feeds.
Ready for a repeat.
Ooh,
I
another
called
beholder.
it. I called it. Why am I always getting repeats? Oh, look, and a dinosaur foot.
It would be funny if it's a repeat super rare.
I doubt that. Oh my gosh, no, it's not. Okay, now this is the common beholder. When the beholder is fielded, you may use up to 2 different global abilities for free. Oh. That's annoying.
Yeah, that's fairly cool. I mean, I can definitely see, like, especially if you're using like 2-cost globals, like the Wasp Sting, or using Stealth Ops has the global that costs 2 mass to spin down a character. I think it's a pretty cool, and the fact that he's a 0/0/1, you're going to be able to field him pretty easily. Yeah, and that also has the same global where you can basically stockpile a action die. So, yeah, I like him.
Okay, and then my last one is a cockatrice. This would be common, and when he's fielded, KO target character die with purchase cost of 4 or less.
Yeah, and the cockatrice is also in the starter, so now we've seen all 4 cockatrice.
Cockatrice.
So yeah, I think the cockatrice is pretty interesting. I'm not a huge fan of it with bolts. If he was a fist, I'd like it a lot more, because I think fist is in more need of removal than bolts.
Why would you say with, I mean, what does it matter what the energy is?
Mostly if you're going with a bolt team, or if you're going with a bolt team and you want bolt characters, there's other bolts you could use that are going to give you better removal, like your Hawkeyes. Hawkeye's a 4-cost bolt.
Oh, okay.
And if I was going to make an unlimited team, I'd much sooner look at Hawkeye than the cockatrice.
Okay, I mean, I just thought you made it sound like he is only going to knock out fist characters. I mean, he knocks out any energy type.
No, yeah. But still, I mean, in set, it's removal. I mean, and removal is always really important in draft. So, yeah, I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable card.
And 4 is a high number.
Yeah. That's, and yeah, in draft, you're going to have a lot of small cost.
I'm going to get rid of this beholder right here. Goodbye, beholder.
Well, but the holder you don't really want to knock out, because every time it's fielded, you're giving your opponent a free global. But still, cool cards, and now I really, really wish that I had more. But now we gotta wait till February 10th. So that's all for now. So thank you for joining us, and just a quick recap, or just lay them all down.
Sparkly dice. There's little grains of sparkles in there. The most important thing.
So we had the potion, the rust monster, Bahamut, the intellect devourer, the beholder, super rare, the goblin, Baelor, and the Gorgon. Well, that's it for now. Thank you, and looking forward to more.